Yo, what's poppin', man? Welcome back to the channel. We about to get into this story about this man got arrested after killing his ex-girlfriend, and then he ended up getting murdered while in jail. I don't know the entire details. Shout out to the Family TV who provided this story and provided this video. Shout out to all y'all who've been watching. Excuse me. Be sure to leave a like, comment, turn on post notification. I'm down to sound like goddamn Obama. Goddamn. If I could change the country, I would. But now, look. Damn, I'm gonna leave this in there because that shit funny. I know y'all probably like, damn, this nigga coughing in the video. But this is authentic, man. Hey, shout out to you, man. With that being said, let's get into the story, y'all.
Friend Cassandra Jones in the 1400 block of Iberville Street. According to a witness, Brown shot Jones in the back. Video showed a man carrying a long gun walk up to Jones, who was struggling on the ground, and shoot her 2 more times.
As a black woman and someone being gunned down in our city, totally unacceptable. The apprehension of Mr. Brown, something that we absolutely celebrate. I do.
Right now, the search continues for a man New Orleans police say shot and killed a woman on Iberville Street, then drove to Middle Tennessee, where police there say he shot a police officer.
I could see it in her eyes and hear it.
This nigga shot a cop too? Oh yeah, you going down, bro. Oh, he ain't even going down. He got killed in jail. That's crazy. That's crazy. People really crashing out, man. Y'all gotta understand this, man. We moving into a time where people are just crashing out just by waking up. You feel me? Like, people are crashing out every day.
In her voice that she was afraid to leave and go home.
This was a black woman that was brutally gunned down, murdered.
You know, some people say you can't get arrested for the crimes that you did, and they know you did it. Sometimes street justice is even more satisfying. But it's even rare you get both. People in the streets often rather see street justice before you get locked up, especially when they lost a loved one to gun violence. Losing somebody you love to such senseless act can lead to individuals and communities to seek retribution outside of the legal system.
Right.
We always speak on how assuming having someone get locked up is a symbol of closure. Right. But this complex emotional landscape highlights how deeply personal tragedies can shape perceptions of justice and even sympathy. But fam, can you imagine a scenario where both inmates and law enforcement share a mutual dislike for an individual? That's what we got here today. A man who took his girlfriend's life on camera, broad daylight, using an assault rifle, overkill. And while on the run, he shot an officer.
Yeah, I don't see, to me, I personally feel like it's mental issues that's be going on in people's heads. People really be out here losing it, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know what led this man up to kill his ex-girlfriend. Condolence to her family, condolence to any of her children if she have any. But this is a crazy story because this is a prime example of domestic violence, and then just a situation she may have called the cops on this man previous, and they took it light. I feel like when a cop is called to the scene for domestic violence, it need to be taken serious because it can lead up to things like this.
Before being captured. Make a long story short, before trial even started, he lost his life. Today we go over this story, pay our respects to the victim, talk about the details, and what we know as far as the public today. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story.
He just give you the story, man. With that being said, we about to get into it, man. I know y'all be like, oh, you talk too much. I got to. Copyright reasons.
So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it. Family, today we visit a place where they known and struggle with high crime rates. New Orleans, Louisiana. Back in 2022, the year this incident occurred, the city had reported an increase in violent crimes, including homicides and aggravated assaults. The city had one of the highest homicide rates in the nation. Reports indicating that the number of homicides was notably higher compared to previous years. And this was no different on June 27, 2022, where a mom of 3...
I'm just going to say this, man. Crime did increase after 2020. People got locked in their homes, put on lockdown for damn near 2 years. And I feel like the world kind of came out of a cave, truth be told. And yeah, people just started crashing out left and right. I ain't never see so many, you know, crime rates go up in the past like 5 years than what it's been going on since like 2019.
Tyree, who was identified as Cassandra Jones, was shot multiple times in broad daylight. The murder was recorded on a cell phone video from a nearby apartment. Unfortunately, the person released it to the public via social media. The New Orleans Police Department identified the killer as Jones' ex-boyfriend, B.J. Brown, a man who wasn't new to law enforcement, arrested 15 times in the last...
Wait, this nigga got arrested for punching, protective person, choking, strangling, shove protecting. So he got pretty much charged with domestic violence, abuse on a person. Mental, emotional, financial intimidation, threatened, protective. Yeah, this man just was crashing out, bro.
5 years. Cassandra Jones had a temporary restraining order against BJ in the prior month. Now, the mother's apartment building was in the Iberville neighborhood.
BJ tried to smother me with a pillow. Bro, let's go back real quick. I want to read this. Okay, I noticed that it was a car, GLE 250 Mercedes. I wasn't in the parking lot that he had to be in a different car. Shortly after that, the female officer took pictures of my bruises that were on my body. After the police, I noticed my Mr. Brown had left his phone and the keys to the Mercedes. I then knew that Mr. Brown will be back. I went to bed and Mr. Brown was calling me back, wanting me to give him his phone and keys. I knew his phone. I'm sorry, y'all. I can read. I'm gonna pause and just say I can read, but the words, okay? So bear with it. I was laying in the bed, okay, trying to get me some rest for work. Mr. Brown had gotten in my apartment after he came into my bedroom where I was sleeping at. We got into another fight because he wanted the keys to the car that doesn't belong to him. It went on for hours. Mr. Brown tried to smother me with a pillow. All I wanted is for Mr. Brown to go on and be with who he had been with. Leave me alone and give me that car back. So she put a restraining order out on this dude. Obviously told the cops what happened. He, pretty much broke in her crib. You feel me? Unless he had a key. He was trying to get his key in his car. But it just seemed like a whole bunch of nonsense. And this is the BS that adults be going through when you can just leave somebody instead of keep dealing with their nonsense. But sometimes it's harder than it looks.
Against BJ in the prior month. Now, the mother's apartment building was in the Iberville neighborhood. Her twin daughters, who was 19 years old at the time, was living in Jackson, Mississippi with their father, frantically trying to call their mother, but got no answer. Eventually, the older sister, 𝐂𝐨𝐩𝐲𝐫𝐢𝐠𝐡, reached out to them to say that their mother had been shot and was in the hospital. The twins had raced to New Orleans, and every so often, they would get pictures texted them of their mother lying on the sidewalk outside of her apartment building. The image was circulating rapidly on social media. The daughters heard Jones had been shot 3 times in the leg, and they couldn't wait to get to the hospital to give her a hug and talk about what happened. Instead, they were greeted by a doctor who told them their mother had died from surgery. After they identified their mother's body, the grieving daughter started walking out of the hospital when they were stopped by a friend of Jones, who began showing them a cell phone. Quoting, "Look at this," Jania said the woman told them, before showing her a video circulating online of BJ Brown shooting their mother with an assault rifle. Quote, "We didn't know that we were about to watch that," Jalen said. One of the twins started throwing up and the other started crying. They hadn't realized that there were video footage of the incident, and they said they certainly would have decided not to watch it, especially at the moment. Jania said she still replayed that video in her head, hearing her mother shout for help, and sometimes has nightmares that she was the one shot. Jalen said she doesn't like to ever be alone anymore, so that she doesn't replay the scene entirely. Quote, "My heart is broken into pieces. We don't know when we're going to get justice for what he did to my mama." End quote. And at this time, BJ Brown still wasn't arrested. BJ ended up going hundreds of miles away to Tennessee, outside of Nashville, where authorities say he shot a police officer during a traffic stop and ran into the woods. This was an area that only had a staff of 6 officers.
Right now, the search continues for a man New Orleans police say shot and killed a woman on Iberville Street.
Yikes. Yeah, man, I couldn't imagine. That is very heartbreaking to, arrive to the hospital and then, it's footage of the incident. And to have to witness that after just being told your family member has passed, you know, like I said, my condolences go out to her and her family. This is a sad story, and unfortunately this guy, you know, he went out the easy way in a sense of not paying his time for what crime he committed and really thinking about what he done. I hope that the family eventually get closure from this situation, but this is very devastating.
Then drove to Middle Tennessee, where police there say he shot a police officer.
It's a shocking case now that has gone across the state. Law enforcement officers all over the Southeast looking for the man that's on your screen right now. This is 32-year-old B.J. Brown. Well, tonight we're learning more about the relationship Brown may have had with the woman he's accused of killing, 𝐂𝐨 Jones.
Investigators say Brown shot and killed Jones around 9:30 yesterday morning. He then drove more than 500 miles to 𝐸RIN, Tennessee. That's northwest of Nashville. And as Mike McDaniel explains in tonight's top story, court records point to past domestic abuse and a petition for protection that never happened.
Yeah, pretty much. And this is a case that's across the nation, man. When people file domestic violence disputes with the police or they give a police report about an incident, they should be taken very seriously because it end up causing somebody their life. And then to just top it off, another person got caught up in this incident, which was a cop, which they really didn't cover in this story, but still, that's another person that's caught up because the law enforcement didn't take this man seriously when he got charged with his first charges.
Wanted for murder. New Orleans police are looking for 32-year-old B.J. Brown, accused of killing a woman who family members identify as 𝐂𝐨 Jones.
This was a black woman that was brutally gunned down, murdered.
It happened Monday morning inside an apartment complex in the 1400 block of Iberville Street. A witness tells Eyewitness News Brown shot Jones in the back. She ran, then collapsed. That's when video circulating online shows a man walk up to Jones with a long gun, shooting her at least 2 more times. Family members of Jones say she and Brown used to date, and according to court records, there's a history of domestic abuse. Jones filed a petition for protection back in May, accusing Brown of multiple forms of abuse: physical, mental, financial, and sexual. In a written statement, Jones wrote Brown even tried to smother her with a pillow after an argument. The clerk of court says a temporary restraining order was never put in place because, for whatever reason, Jones never proceeded with it. She even worked in the office as a deputy clerk for the last year.
New Orleans is known for crime. And
domestic violence is one of the top ones that lead to the rest. Okay, look. So she obviously did it herself. She worked for the county clerk. So she know the process, she know the procedure, she know exactly what she needed to do. And she didn't follow up. And that's a sad thing, because if she would have followed up, this probably wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? And I promise y'all, this is not something that it should be taken lightly. It should not be taken lightly. You feel me? Like, this is crazy.
Domestic violence is kind of serious in our community.
Chris Davis lives near where the murder happened and is shaken by it.
It was just awful. It shouldn't happen. That type of stuff shouldn't happen in broad daylight in a normal community, you know?
And it didn't end in that community. Brown is also linked to shooting an officer Monday night while on the run, 530 miles away near 𝐸RIN, Tennessee, west of Nashville. That's where an emotional police chief, Mark Moore, says an officer trying to make a traffic stop only to be shot by Brown before he ran away.
Make no mistake whatsoever, this was an ambush on an officer.
Moore says that officer is expected to survive this type of crime in New Orleans.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know if the cop survived. And the reason I wanted to know is because the story isn't about the cop. It's about the ex-girlfriend being murdered in broad daylight. But it still goes to say that, you know what I'm saying, another life was almost taken because this guy crashed out. Crazy.
Orleans has activist Amir Baraka worried about the future of the city.
When a young man can walk with a machine gun, shoot a woman, and just walk around the apartment building, then come back and finish her off, that's bold. That's bold. He don't give a damn.
A bold move caught on video, now etched in the minds of the community. Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.
He was eventually taken into custody after a statewide manhunt. Now, the only update that 𝐂𝐨 family and her daughters received was from Tennessee authorities about B.J. Brown's upcoming trial in 2024. It ended up being pushed back to 2025, and that was only for the attempted murder of the police officer. The last time they heard from New Orleans authorities was 2023, after their mother was killed, when a U.S. Marshal told them he would keep them updated on any future court dates. Now, Jones' family said they called the U.S. Marshals throughout the years, but hasn't gotten a response on their request for updates. But unfortunately, B.J. Brown wouldn't be able to make trial for neither case. He got a life sentence and a plea agreement for the attempt on the officer. But for Cassandra, her family never got justice.
Yo, see what I'm saying? See what I'm talking about? They went ahead and said, you know what? That case is closed. We know he killed her. The family gonna have to deal with it the way they gonna deal with it. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the aftermath of somebody crashing out. You know what I'm saying? Mental health is a real thing in America. Mental health is a real thing all around the world. And people need to start taking it more serious, because people are crashing out in a blink of an eye. They went ahead and said, you know what? We're not even going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the fact that he shot an officer, and we're going to prosecute him for that and give him life. Just to be able to get him into prison quicker than they needed to with that case, because that case would have became a trial case, and it would have been, you know, he probably would have been in county. He probably would have been extradited back to, you know, New Orleans. So, yeah, we about to see.
Or maybe until recently. Now 34 years old, B.J. Brown lost his life while in jail on November 17, 2024. And the only thing authorities is releasing is there was no foul play.
Arrest until he was located and prosecuted and justice served, whether it be by a jury or Jesus.
In a WWL exclusive, we've confirmed a man accused of gunning down a New Orleans mom has died in a Tennessee prison. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sharice Gibson. Katie is off tonight. B.J. Brown was serving time there for shooting a police officer. Paul Murphy reports Brown passed away before he could stand trial for crimes in New Orleans.
So they got to him. They say no foul play was involved. Yikes.
4-year-old B.J. Brown died in a Tennessee prison where he was serving a life sentence for the attempted murder of a police officer. In June 2022, police say Brown killed his one-time girlfriend, Cassandra Jones, in the 1400 block of Iberville Street. According to a witness, Brown shot Jones in the back. Video showed a man carrying a long gun walk up to Jones, who was struggling on the ground, and shoot her 2 more times.
This very violent perpetrator took Miss Jones's life in a very brazen way. It's on video, and went on the run.
According to police, while on the run from New Orleans, Brown shot a police officer during a traffic stop in Aaron, Tennessee. Aaron Police Chief Mark Moore said while his department and his injured officer got justice with Brown's life sentence, he is saddened that Brown died before being prosecuted for his crimes in New Orleans.
I vowed to my citizens that during the manhunt that we wouldn't rest until he was located and prosecuted and justice served, whether it be by a jury or Jesus, and I guess both of them happened in quick time.
Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams said he wanted Brown back in New Orleans.
Yeah, he did, because he needed to be prosecuted for that crime as well. But Tennessee went ahead and said, you know what? We got us one. Man, come on, man. You don't play in Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, Florida, man. There's certain states that when you come through, don't play.
Although he was convicted of a crime elsewhere, I wanted to get him back here in Orleans Parish for us to do what we could for Mrs. Jones' family and her 3 kids.
Tennessee prison officials released few details about Brown's death. They confirmed he died on Sunday and that there were no signs of foul play.
I'm just learning the fate of him this morning. I'm not sure of the details of that, as it's an ongoing investigation.
The Lord saw fit to take him away sooner, and that is one brand of justice. But I really was looking forward to getting him back in our jurisdiction.
Sometimes.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Be sure to check out the Family TV. I always leave the original link down in the description below if y'all want to check that out. Be sure to leave a like, comment, turn on post notification. That's the video. With that being said, man, I'll see y'all in the next.
How he getting all these racks? How he getting all that cash? That's the question that they ask. But I'm spazzing on their ass. In my phone, I'm going fast. Fuck your questions, I'm a boss. I used to take hella losses. Now broke niggas